Good afternoon, everybody. Today, we're going to be going over leveraging video and social media in your real estate industry. We will be going over some of the different platforms available to you. However, there are plenty of them out there. Today, for today's purposes, we will be going over X. We're going to be going over Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram, to name a few of the ones that we will talk about. So to go ahead and get started, this is me. I am Josh Enfield. So these are all the different items we will be going over today. And so there's a lot of information here. Don't expect to be a professional from today's training. This is to give you a basic foundation of understanding what is out there. So first off, you want to understand what's the difference between a logo and a brand. So a logo is a specific mark, right? Like the logo for Apple products is an apple, right? But what is their branding? Their branding is high-end, high-quality performance computers and devices, right? So there's a difference between a brand and a logo. So it's important for you guys to understand what is your brand is not what your logo is. So the other thing to keep in mind is that a video content has a much more likelihood of being seen and remembered and even shared on social platforms. So video is crucial to you guys getting better engagement for your respective properties or your business. And so that's something you want to be able to keep in mind. How are you integrating video into your business? Lastly, and many of you know Blockbuster, they were a behemoth in the industry, and then they got comfortable and they didn't make adaptations that were necessary for them to remain in business. And that's how we saw the blunder of Blockbuster. And it's funny, though, that at one point Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy a small company called Netflix. And then it turned around and Netflix is now the behemoth in the industry and Blockbuster is nowhere to be found. So you want to be able to continue your adaptation to the current markets and being able to consistently making improvements. You don't need to do it overnight, but every day just do a little bit. So I'm going to show you guys just a couple of video options here. We've got a short video from one of our listings. And when you do a short video means it's something like less than a minute long. It's a quick in and out type video, gets people intrigued, and it keeps their attention. For listing, you want to make sure that those are very short and specific to just maybe one or two items in the house to get people excited. But you don't want to give everything away in the house all at once. You want to keep them guessing for more. So here's a quick example of that.
Part of any home. Then let me tell you why this kitchen is staying. Just like this cookie, a kitchen needs all the right ingredients to make it just right. Like a good solid cookie dough, these granite countertops are a great foundation for this stunning picture. Like the chocolate chip and the good cookie, these cabinets and shelves provide even more value to this gorgeous kitchen. So if you enjoyed the bite-sized tasting of our listings, click on the link below and enjoy a full tour.
All right, so there you saw a very, very simple introduction to the kitchen area, and that's it. There's a lot of other things, you could highlight in that video, but we are focusing on just one aspect. Now, some other videos that you want to do, can include a testimonial video, and we'll talk more about some options. But you want to be able to grab the emotions of the individuals, not just here's the house, here's another part of the house, here's another part of the house. You want to be able to share a certain part. So in this video, there's a little cut from one of our other listings we had, and we were trying to find out who is the demographic, who is your respective buyer, who's your potential buyers, and you want to say what's going to intrigue them and your sphere to keep them engaged with what you're sharing. And so for here, this is one of my previous sellers. He was a veteran and he lived by Hill Air Force Base. And so we decided, we're going to market this. It was around the time frame of Top Gun, so we kind of did a little fun video with that.
And was the professional video that they got together that was based on the Top Gun theme. It was hilarious. they did like these different scenes, recreated these scenes from the Talk Gun Thief. It was really cool how they did the graphics of jets flying through, and I think it really attracted a lot of.
So that's just a quick snippet. But what we did is we were trying to figure out how do we get emotionally connected. So we did a fun video that made people laugh, right? So they're not feeling like they're being sold to. The second thing was we actually incorporated the community. We showed highlights of the house, but we also went to places like the amusement park, and we went to some other parks where people were like, wow, this is a place I can envision my family being at. And so with that, you want to be able to make sure that you're utilizing video. Okay, so another one. So this one is just straight humor. If you guys have seen this video, it's great. It's good to watch again. If you haven't, I'd suggest watching it.
Got this crib at Esper, 50 off a Sony. Had to take the best of 100 over asking. That's a subtle flex. 2 days it was active. Buyers ready, set. The market is popping. Looking to sell, better get you an offer. In the sell, get a nice little.
So this guy goes on and on. Great flow. Everything's awesome, but he's relating to people on a more emotional level rather than a logical level. And so really what you're doing is you're trying to build those relationships with people. This is what's most important. So keep that in mind when you're looking at video content. Okay, so now we're going to be going over the different social media platforms. So the ones we're looking at are TikTok, which is for Gen Z. You have short video content. That means you're not just posting a picture. It's video. It's short. People don't want to watch long things. They don't want to read long threads. It's very shorthand. Best times to post on that are Tuesdays through Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then you have YouTube. This is actually kind of encompassing every demographic of age, and they're looking more so at long form video, like explanational videos, educational videos, but they are actually starting to get very popular as the shorts on YouTube as well, similar to TikTok. Then you have X. This is more popular on the East Coast and also with politicians and famous individuals. And it's a lot of text and basic picture, information. This is basically a news and real-time updates of things going on. Then you have Instagram. That's going to be Gen Z and your millennials. It's going to be photos and shorts as well, and reels, which we'll explain here in a minute. And your best times for that are Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Then when you get to Facebook, this is going to grab a lot more people, a little bit older group, your millennial and Gen X. And there's going to be text, photos, long video content. There are reels and short, in there as well. But you're going to see more of a mixture of different age groups, but more of the older groups will be on Facebook. And the best times to post are Mondays all day, and then Tuesdays to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Lastly, we have LinkedIn. It's going to be your millennial and Gen X long content form used as a networking platform. So best times to post are Tuesday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Now, again, when you are looking at these different platforms, it may feel overwhelming. It would be my suggestion that you don't really try to be on every single platform. I would say pick maybe one or two and stick with that. If you wanted to do Facebook and Instagram, and that's where you are, then great. If you say, I just want to have just a straight professional page, I don't want to deal with these other social platforms, go with LinkedIn. If you're a very fun, engaging person and you like to dance and do other fun, engaging video content, TikTok is going to be a great option. I know there's been, issues with, banning TikTok, bringing it back and forth. You can still do the same type of video content on Instagram, which then can tie to your Facebook platform. So if you have Facebook and LinkedIn can tie together, but only if you have a personal page to a personal page or a business page to a business page. You can't intermix a business and a personal page from the platforms. So that's taking us down to the differences between post, reels, stories, shorts. It gets confusing, right? So post, first off, is a permanent posting that will go on your timeline on say, for instance, like on Facebook. It can be a video, it can be static, and then people can like, comment, share, but that's what most people are used to. Now, shorts are more of a video format where you're going to have music in the background. You can add little stickers and fun little video and transitions and different types of things like that. Now, the difference between shorts, which is what's going to be called on YouTube and on TikTok, but on Instagram, they're called reels. And same thing on Facebook. But pretty much they're the same thing. It's short, engaging video content, less than 60 seconds. Usually you want to see anywhere in the 30-second time frame for some of these reels. And then you have stories. Stories it can be photos or a video that you want to share with people, but you don't necessarily want to keep it on your permanent, profile. You don't want people to be able to see it later on. Maybe it's not as important and you just want to just share it real quick, but have it disappear within 24 hours. Stories are going to be your best bet for that. So here's the differences between those different types of options. Now we'll talk about equipment. So for most people, we have modern, you have an iPhone's Galaxy, or you've got your Google, phone. Any of these phones have really good cameras. So you could technically do some recording on your own without having to purchase any new equipment. Now, there are very expensive Sony and Canon cameras that can really do some amazing quality pictures and video content. But for the most part, what I see with agents is they are trying to be the expert in multiple different realms, and it actually undercuts their ability to be an expert in the real estate industry because they're trying to be the one-man band, and you start changing your focus when you go in and out of these different things. But if you want to be the guru, it's very inexpensive to get some of these equipment pieces, like a microphone. That's one I would just suggest across the board. Even if you're just doing a simple little video at home and you want a good quality sound like I'm doing right now, you're going to be able to get far better, audio and video if you're using the right tools. It's going to make you look a lot more professional. So when someone watches your video, they're going to say, wow, that person really stands out. It's not just about your knowledge. It's about you being able to connect with them and them feeling like, hey, this is a top level individual who I can trust to manage my listing or manage my purchase. So again, here you can see very minimal items. You could spend less than $1,000 and get all these different items here that would aid you. The one I would suggest staying away from or reconsidering if you're not really good with electronics is a gimbal. Everything else here is pretty simple to manage. The gimbal does take a lot of training, and if you're not really the tech-savvy individual, don't mess with the gimbal. I have one, and I've done it. They actually work wonderfully, but I did one with a listing because I couldn't get a photographer and videographer out there in time, so I went and did the property myself. I spent like 4 hours trying to get it right, and I'll tell you, it was not worth the time and effort, and it was still a pretty decent one. I'm pretty good with technology, but I'm not a professional in it. So I could still see some of the glitches. I was pleased that I did it, but would I do it again on my own? No, I would hire a professional. So now, how should you record your videos? It depends on the platforms, and it depends on what you're trying to do. If it is short content, most likely you will want to do that vertically. Because when you do it vertically, most of the platforms that support short video content are going to be YouTube, and YouTube and TikTok, if that's what you're doing for a short, right? And same thing with Facebook and Instagram if you're doing a reel. So if you're doing a recording and you want it to show and you're going to edit it, use the vertical platform. That's more kind of in your face, and it gives you more of that personal feel and touch. However, if you're trying to show like panoramic views and see more of a distance, then a horizontal video may make sense for you to share. So if you're doing a walkthrough of an entire home, the view might look a lot better with horizontal. Now, on the horizontal aspect, that's going to be your general postings on Facebook, LinkedIn, long format video on YouTube, and the same thing on X. But if you look down the base right here, I'm going to show you the difference. This is a vertical video. Now, the only problem with this is it was placed on a horizontal platform. So if you take a vertical video and you place it on a horizontal platform, you are going to see these black spaces. And it's not going to be right in your face. It's just not going to give the same effect. And people will be squinting. They won't want to watch your video as much. So think ahead. And if what you need to see in your video. If you do need to make it so it's wide, then post it on a widespread platform. Now you can edit it so then that way you can take a snapshot of your video that would make it more horizontal, but you're going to cut out some of the aspects that you've recorded. So make sure you're kind of understanding, how do I want this being recorded and how do I want it posted into which platform? Okay, when you're doing these reels and shorts, trending music is essential to understand. If there's a popular song, we'll just say something by Taylor Swift, right? People are using one of her songs and it's just going viral on a bunch of different things. If you use that same trending music on your video content, now people who've watched another video with the same video or same audio content, so like the same song by Taylor Swift, for example, and then now they're going to get suggestions to watch your video because it's going to resuggest similar videos that have that music in it. So utilize trending music because it will aid the visibility of your content tremendously. So not only will it aid in people watching it, but using the right trending music can create an emotional connection. And it's funny, if you guys have ever seen some of those remix of some videos and they're like, right scene, wrong song. I remember seeing one where they had one with Harry Potter and what was his name, the other guy in Harry Potter, Malfoy. So Malfoy and Potter, like the scene where they're kind of like arguing with each other and kind of like snickering at each other, and then they put a love song in the background instead of some of the dramatic music, and it totally changes the emotional feel of it, and it's hilarious. But if you put the right type of song into a video, it changes it. For example, I'll go back to that time I decided to do the gimbal, and I used a Christina Perri song, 1,000 Years. I think that's what it's called. And I added that to my video. And when I posted it, like it grabbed a ton of attention because people were like feeling like, oh, this is home. And it just gave that vibe of like 1,000 years and emotions. And I got a ton of great feedback on that video. The type of audio you add is very important, and keep that in mind. So it also supports your brand identity. So if you're looking at your brand and you're saying, hey, is my brand very professional or playful? You want to kind of stay within that. So if you're like very like, we'll say you're very, you're fun, you're engaging, and maybe you're a little bit off the cuff, and so you're okay with being a little bit brash with some of your content, then maybe you're okay with playing some music that might be like Eminem, for example. But if you're targeting a specific demographic that's going to be a lot more polished and, professional, and you're sharing music that, is talking about things that would be offensive to your specific demographic and your audience, that's not going to be going over very well. So make sure that you're not sharing Eminem songs to your very, conservative, group. Understand who you're pitching is your audience. So now, what does a hashtag mean, or the pound sign? There's a lot of different utilizations for this. One is just utilizing a phrase or, like a company. And so, for example, my slogan is jump into a better home. I also use we got your six. It's a military term, like we got your back. And so I always post that hashtag whenever I'm posting items. So it gives me a lot of branding for what I stand for. And then you can add other things in here, like it shows here, Utah Realtors or Homes for Sale, Salt Lake City, or you can put Orem or whatever it might be. If you use that trend and other people pick it up, then they can see what you're utilizing as well. It can also help people find you through the algorithms. So if you're saying real estate agent in Utah County and someone's looking up that up on Google, SOI, it'll pull from some of those things. So understand what is your branding and what's the consistency with that for the messaging. Now, this is going to be more common on Instagram and X, but it's utilized in multiple platforms, and it can aid your visibility. Okay, now we're going to talk about tagging and collaborating. So two totally different things. When you tag somebody, they get a message or ping saying, hey, you've got this new post or reel to check out. Some people don't like to be tagged. So be cautious and conservative on how you're tagging people and that they feel comfortable with that. So if you're a team or a branch and you're tagging a bunch of your agents and they're all like, yeah, that looks great, and you put that through there, you're going to see a huge advantage there. So now when you're looking at collaborating, this is different. This is an example of, let's just say I am working with a videographer and a staging company. I have the videographer, they do the videography on my property, and then I have the stager do the staging, and now it all looks pristine. I want to tag them, or do I want to collaborate with them? If I tag them, they'll get a little ping, and they'll say, oh, great, nice video, and they'll like it. Maybe they might share it. But if you add them as a collaborator and they're okay with this, then it will actually post to their feeds, so their platforms, as if it was their own posting. So why is that good? One, if someone comments on your post on your feed, then it will show up on their platforms as a comment. And if somebody goes on to one of their platforms and likes their post, it will show up identical on yours. So it increases the amount of engagement from likes, shares, and comments than if it were individual postings. Also, it opens up the audience to a larger demographic, and you'll see that you'll be able to reach a wider audience. So instead of just seeing people who normally see your posts, people who see those other people's posts will now see your post as well. This is a great way for engaging additional people in your branding. So now that takes us to open houses and other people's listings. Is it okay to film other people's listings? Yes, with permission. So here I've got shown here is section number 9 of the exclusive right to sell listing agreement. And so in here, line items, everything you can do as marketing a individual's property, one of your client's properties. So as you go through here, it says you can have keys to the property. You can MLS or local board realtors approved indoor security key box, hold open houses at the property, place for sale sign or similar signs, order preliminary title report, home warranty. Here's basics, but it doesn't specify other items. So if you're doing other things like videoing the interior of the house, you want to get permission for those items. If you're going to have a party at the house, you want to have written permission to do so. Now, here's the thing. When someone signs the exclusive right to sell listing agreement, they are agreeing to have the brokerage and a select agent be responsible for marketing the property. So if another individual in Realty Path wants to do an open house for you, they can, because we have permission as a brokerage. If you are trying to get somebody outside of the brokerage, you have to get permission from the sellers and the brokerage to allow them to go and do open houses and video the property, whatever they're doing to highlight the property. Is it a good idea to do this? Yes, because you can get a lot more people engaging, looking at the property. If you have a nice property and someone wants to market it, that's a great way to bring in more more clients. And is it good for you to do this for yourself? It absolutely is. You can get so many clients from doing open houses, especially as a new agent. This is the key to starting out your business. You can get a lot of people who will have the opportunity to not be represented. They show up to an open house, and then you say, well, I can walk you through the house. Let me show you the property. You say, I'm not the listing agent. I'm a buyer's agent. You say, hey, if you're interested in placing an offer, I'd be happy to help you in that process. Boom. Or, hey, you guys don't like this house? Let me show you some other properties that might interest you. Now you've built a new client there. So great idea, but you do need to have permissions to do such things. Except for within your own brokerage, you can utilize any of those listings. As long as you talk to that agent, say, hey, can I go ahead and do an open house? You are covered to do so. So now, when you're talking about, we're going back to video now, time frame editing, your video should be, chopping, going to one thing, going to the next thing. This is time frame editing. It keeps people engaged, keeps them excited, and it tells a story. So just like this, great content, but videos should be short. Really, they should be under 2 minutes in most cases. Unless it's educational or you're walking through something for someone, they should be under 2 minutes. The shorts, I've seen the best videos are 30 seconds. Engaging, enough to tell a story and move it on. You can do shorter, but usually you don't give enough time to kind of get that emotional attachment to it. So there are different tools for this. The individual platforms have their own tools like Instagram, TikTok. You can use CapCut is another company. There's a lot of different platforms depending on your device that you can utilize for editing video content. My suggestion is if you're really savvy, you can use those platforms. If you're just dabbling in a little bit, like, I don't really know what I'm doing, I would suggest hiring a company to do so. We do work with a few different videography companies. And so if you're looking for some advice, just reach out to us and we'll give you a direction of some suggestions and some preferred vendors that would aid you in making that content. I'm going to give you guys just a quick example. I love playing basketball, and I participate in a thing called Dunk Camp where we compete and jumping and everything else. I tied with another individual. And so I made a quick little short video just of us at the event. And I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, see how quick that was? Now I'm going to do it with the sound off and I'll walk you guys through. So here I added in some hashtags. Remember we talked about those? I also put some lettering in here explaining what happened. We tied for first place. Added a little picture or a sticker is what they call it. And then you'll see right here I added in another Instagram page so you can link people to that. Then right here, I have a couple more stickers showing where we measured in at for our jumping. And then I showed us adding in some more stuff saying rematch coming soon and us jumping. So really, you can really see, like, you can tell a story very quickly. And we had people watching over and over again. And we shared that as collaborators. Remember collaborating? Now is both on both of our feeds doing that. So. Okay, now we're going to go back to branding. Remember, branding is not the logo, okay? It is the feel of your company. It's what your company represents. So, first off, you do need to have consistency with your logo and your branding. It's like, what does it mean to be you? Are you more of a soft color or are you more like a luxury color? If you're changing colors and schemes consistently, it may confuse your clientele. So try to keep the tones, logos, colors as similar as possible. So then it sets a branding tone. Now, authenticity. If you are always on social media and you are sharing nothing but successes, success story after success story, people will be like, wow, that's amazing. But they're going to say, that's either fake or I am jealous. And so now I don't like that person. And either one, you don't want to have those sentiments from your prospective audience. Same thing goes for struggles. If all you're doing is sharing struggles, you're going to people are going to feel that you are ungrateful, or they're going to want to avoid you because they don't want to be associated with people who are negative constantly. But when you have a good mixture of the two, you become what's called relatable. When you are relatable, that means people feel comfortable around you. That is how you build a relationship and rapport with an individual. So going back on to visual identity, your visuals and your videos should match your branding and who you are. If you're playful, be playful. If you're serious, be serious. It's the worst thing when you have someone super serious trying to be playful and like crack jokes, but then they don't know how to pitch it. And it's awkward. So you don't have to be the other person. If you're not hilarious, be that serious person and have fun with it. Be who you are, and you will attract people you're meant to attract, and you will become more comfortable for you. Now, talking about the importance of niches. So you can take any clients, but who is your forte, clientele? What is your expertise? What areas can you feel comfortable in? Maybe you speak a language. Maybe you speak Tagalog, or you speak Spanish, or you speak Chinese, and you want to go after that group. Amazing. Do it. Market that. Or maybe like me, I focus on veterans. So one of my niches is veteran community. I serve in the military. I can talk the lingo. They feel more comfortable. We can, razz each other, all that stuff. But then I can specialize like in VA loans. And what does that mean? Or maybe you just want to focus on luxury homes. Because if you're doing everything under the sun, maybe people don't know who you are. But if you're like, I only do luxury homes, and you have a very polished, image, your dress, your speech, your demeanor, all that is very polished. It fits that luxury feel. Now you're going to specialize in that industry. But if you're trying to hit every single demographic, and it becomes difficult. The whole shotgun approach, a shotgun does great. It hits multiple directions, right? But it's not a sure shot. So although you can market to the masses, if you have one or two niches that we call it sniping. So if you're using a sniper rifle, now you're specifically targeting those select groups, and your messaging is going to be a lot more on cue with them, and you'll see better engagement amongst that community. Now, consistency is super important. If you feel overwhelmed, you don't have to post every single day. Just pick how often you want to post and say, you know what, I'm going to do just once a week. That stays consistent, then stick with it. Consistency is more important than you trying to do a month of daily postings, and then you get, emotionally exhausted, and then you don't do anymore. The algorithms pick that up. The algorithms love consistency, and then when they know when to show your postings to other people who are on, if you do it consistently. So be consistent. That's key number one. That's over frequency. So videos are far more engaging. If you just share a picture, that's great. But if you do video content, the statistics, I've shown this before with other people, but it's people will remember roughly 90 to 95% of what they see in a video versus 15, 20% on what they read in a text. So if you're putting text on a platform, then they're going to remember a small portion. If you put video, they're going to remember a whole lot more. So if you give a quick breakdown on what it means to get a zero down a loan, or you write text about a zero down loan, the likelihood of them watching the video is higher, and the retention is much higher. So now some legal things to keep in mind. We've already talked about having the authority to go and show a property, but copyrights and fair use, if you're using someone's video and photo content from your listing, make sure you have the authority to use that outside of the sale of the property. A lot of the different videographers and photographers have copyrights on their material unless authorized for you to use elsewhere. Also, fair housing laws. You cannot discriminate. Even in video, you'd be surprised, you cannot discriminate against certain groups. And same thing in pictures. An example of that would be like, hey, guys, check out this amazing property. And you know what? This is a great home for a Latino family. You cannot do that, okay? Stay stay within your lane and do not, break the fair housing laws. Okay. Some other things is misrepresentation and accuracy. Whatever you're saying in your videos, make sure you better be able to back it up. If you're saying, check out this amazing basement mother-in-law apartment, and you could get $3,500 a month for this sucker. Well, did you do research? Can you really get that amount? You better be able to back that up, because if you're saying something, they're going to take that as knowledge, and you need to be able to show where you got that from. Okay. Now, if you want to do this yourself, you can. Some people are really good at it. If it becomes overwhelming, don't spend a month trying to figure out how to do one video. Get with the professionals. It can be a low cost, but the headache is not there, and it's just done, and you post it, and then you get benefits from it. If you're trying to be super cheap, you're going to miss out on opportunities. So why would you not want to hire a pro? Less stress, a lot more time back to you. This may not be your passion. You don't want to spend money on the equipment that you may not use because it becomes too cumbersome. It takes a lot longer. You can't do the same quality because you don't have the right tools, and even just knowledge base. Maybe you can figure out how to do it, but you're not the creative person. You're not in video in and out every single day, where somebody else is and knows new trends and can utilize those trends to really make your video shine and be utilized. So there's a lot of reasons why. Some simple things that you can do yourself is just, hey, here's a quick update at open house. Guys, here I'm at my open house, and this is what this looks like. That you should do yourself on your phone. Don't worry about it. But like if you're doing like a testimonial for someone, or you're trying to do like an educational video, or create a bunch of short videos, hire a professional. So reasons why to hire a professional: quick turnaround, high quality resolution. We talked about that. Specialized content. They really know what's going on in the market, so you're not dated in your presentation. And what will that cost? Here you have a few different options. Podcast recording, anywhere from like $400 to $750. Shorts and reels, you can get a package of like 10 shorts for like $500 with the right videographer. And we have a few preferred vendors too that we can connect you guys with. So reach out to us if you need suggestions. A listing video, depending on exactly what you're trying to do with your listing video. If it's a full-fledged video, like commercial, like I've done, sometimes I'll spend upwards of $3,000. Excuse me. But if it's just a quick, a video, virtual tour of the house and a quick snapshot of you out front or something, you can get it for that $450 range. A business marketing video, or BMV, that can really range depending on exactly how you're doing this. This is more like an ongoing marketing video that you can target clients. So educational videos, anything stemming from 300 to 500, same thing. Testimonial videos, you can have someone go out and record a client. That's kind of, you guys saw at the very beginning. And that could be anywhere from 500 to 1,500, depends on the travel, the time frame, what other editing they need to do. And so overall, video is key. If you're not doing video, you are turning into Blockbuster. So let that seep in. And so that concludes our training for today on how to leverage and utilize social media and video in your real estate career. Thanks for joining us. And again, if you guys have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out.